Hello and welcome back to the end of section 1. Before we get started, I thought I would just show you something cool on Google Earth to where they have a lot of new features now. They've kind of built up Google Earth. I would recommend checking it out. There's some fun things to do, but now they have things a lot more three-dimensional. And when I typed in ancient Rome, it came up with a lot of different like ways of looking at it from like a map standpoint. They put a map over where ancient Rome could be, and drawings of the 11 most important buildings. They have a section dedicated to Romulus and Remus, the legend about the founding of Rome, who were raised by a wolf um, in the bridge. And you can explore other parts too. So for example, if I just send this way, it will let me, right now has a map over what ancient Rome looks like, but I can remove it. And now if you look at it, it's very three-dimensional. And so I can even check out street view of ancient Rome. Now, ancient Rome has a lot of cool different parts to it. This is the Colosseum. Mrs. Bulwark has been here. Well, she's been to Rome. And it's now somewhat 3D, especially if you take the tour. So ancient Rome is actually all kind of like in a walking tour that's near the Colosseum. Here, if I look at this map overlay, you can see where things might have been. There's a bath. And there's a bath right over there, but if I make it go away, you can see that the building is not there anymore. But there are some things that are still here. There's Latium. There's another bath. What's there today? Ah, looks like let's check it out. Let me go there. Don't tell me that. There we go. Looks like we have some ruins of the bath. So it could be fun for you to check out. I can post a link to Google Earth on this assignment. But yeah, take some time exploring it. That map overlay is really cool because it gives you an idea of where things were, and you can kind of see how modern Rome has changed. So I want to get into my textbook, and we're on page 368. So we had kind of mentioned the Etruscans yesterday, starting to talk about them with their architecture, influencing Roman style. Their alphabet was based off of Greeks, and then the Romans developed their own Latin alphabet based off of the Etruscans. And so we can see the similarities and how it relates to modern Roman and how the modern Roman ways of writing. You know, Times New Roman, that font. We use Roman letters to write in English and a lot of other languages. This is the ruins of an Etruscan city of Veli, which if you want to, you can totally also look up on Google Earth. The Etruscans built in wood, and so because they built in wood, there's not a whole bunch left. But we've learned about from Etruscan cities that terracotta was used to make the statue of Apollo, so it's a Greek god name, Apollo, and that was very important to the city of Veii. The city was also known for its terracotta tile roofs, and Etruscans in the city of Sisera are known for funeral tombs and burial chambers, while the city of Volci produced very large stone sculptures. So we have the terracotta statue of the god Apollo, and it was originally painted in bright colors. We have an Etruscan statue of a chimera, which is a legendary beast with a lion's body, head of a lion, a goat, and a tail that comes out in a snake head. And the ruins you can still visit today. All right. The Roman people were feared conquerors, and they made use of diplomacy, so peaceful relationships with other countries where they could slowly conquer and take over. By the late 200s BC, so 1,000 years, no, 600 years. I keep getting the BCs and 80s mixed up. 600 years later, Rome is ruling all of Italy. While ancient Greece had phalanxes, the basic unit of the Roman army was the legion. A legion has about 4,500 to 5,000 heavily armed soldiers. Most are foot soldiers. Each legion is broken up into maniples, which is a unit of 60 and 160 soldiers. Those maniples in a legion formed a solid battle line. But they were able to break apart. Each legion could break apart into their separate maniples, and they could move and fight on their own. Because their ability to fight together and apart, Roman legions were very flexible and were very successful in combat. Romans picked up the gladius, or short sword, from Spain. Maniples itself were first used by the Samnites. And Roman soldiers were builders as well as fighters. And so when a Roman army was on the move, soldiers would build a temporary fort every night to camp. So really safe way of camping. They also built roads and bridges to help armies move faster. Rome gained power with the help of its allies. They signed treaties with other people, defeated enemies, and the treaties required allies to send troops to fight with Romans, so their armies got bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is what helped make the Roman Empire so huge. And this is an example of what a Roman soldier would have looked like. Early Roman soldiers were mostly wealthy men who were not paid for their job, and they had to have their own equipment, and they bought their own equipment. As the army grew, maniples ended up being replaced by centuries and cohorts. So a legion was separated into 10 cohorts, which blended the 4 warrior types that had made up a maniple. A cohort was divided into centuries of fewer than 100 men. Centuries could fight together or independently. And so, once again, when the maniple wasn't their way of dividing legions, they found a way to divide them even further. Bet you're thinking I forgot the Dutch word, but I didn't. Your Dutch word for Thursday, May 7th is Dewey. Dewey. It's like it's 2 syllables. Do-e. Dewey. And I spelled it wrong. Hold on, let me fix that spelling real fast. I fixed the spelling. Dewey. And so you can see the do-e part. And this means goodbye. So when you're saying goodbye to someone, you can say Dewey, and that means goodbye in Dutch. And I'm going to say Dewey to our videos for this week as we have finished going through section 1. Please check out Google Earth after this. There's some really cool stuff you can check out about ancient Rome, especially with that map overlay. At this time, you should be able to answer all the remaining questions on your homework. And you can wait to do that until Friday, or you can do it today. That's fine. Make sure you do it, though. Don't just turn it in blank like some of you do. I love you. Have a great day. Dewey.